Ron Howard, maybe.
Let's look, man. Let's look right here. We're gonna do it live. The highest grossing
Oh,
film
you
director
know
of
what clip we
all
need is that
time.
Bill O'Reilly. Fuck it, we'll do it live clip.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, might want that, but I do. I have this.
Fear, F-E-A-R.
F-E-R.
That stands for false evidence appearing real.
Yeah.
Romance, do you know what it stands for? It stands for relying on magnificent and necessary compatible energy. Relationship, R-E-L-A-T-I-O-N-S-H-I-P. That stands for really exciting love affair, turns into nightmare, sobriety hangs in peril. Can you ham bone?
What's that?
That beat was pretty good.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, he did a good
I'm gonna
job.
sample that shit.
Let's go through it. The top 10 highest earning directors. Number 10, Ridley Scott.
Yeah, definitely Ridley Scott.
The Gladiator man himself.
I love Gladiator, man. That honestly, like, I've seen that movie over, like, no joke, like over 50 times, and I'll still watch it.
Have you seen it more than the Song of the South?
I've never seen that, so yeah, the ratio would be 50-0.
50-0. Okay. Now I was actually thinking I want to do a video about Song of the South. I have in my mind that it's not as racist as everyone thinks. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's not bad at all.
I'll check it out.
I don't think I watched it as a kid. I don't remember it being bad at all. So I want to check it out. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure it won't be that enjoyable.
But it's like people who saw Watership Down as a kid and it didn't bother them at all. I want to meet those people and get a poll going.
I remember seeing that on Beta. It was at my aunt's.
Beta?
The old Beta was the competitor to VHS. Max. Yeah, Betamax.
You remember when Dish first came out and
Beta was better too, by the way.
If like it was cloudy or the weather was bad, they wouldn't even get the reception at all. It was just dead.
Yeah. I remember she had a Betamax copy of Dark Crystal we'd watch like almost every fucking time I went over there. And it looked you know what, also it looked fucking awesome on Betamax.
Can we real quick check out 12 forgotten sci-fi horror classics?
We'll get to that. I think that's a good I think that's a one good. Let's go through this, but I do like that idea. I'm going to open a new tab. I like that idea. Oh god, they're trying to sell me Vision Pro with a black person. Does that mean I have to be black to have this?
Yo, it was funny. Like when we first started going through the site,
dude, it's fucking terrible. Like, come on. Like, I mean, I understand that you want to have diversity, but when you have all the people be black, come on.
Though, like when you have 3 out of 3 people being black, then it's not diverse anymore.
No, and then you're gonna start to have people on the internet make fun of it, like us.
Like, why can't we just have some albino, midget who's trans do a monologue for 20 minutes?
But here we go, Ridley Scott. We talked about Gladiator. The Martian made tons of money. Mediocre when you start to kind of go back on it. Kind of crappy actually when you start to think about that movie.
I don't think people connect him to Gladiator. I do. I love. Like,
no.
He ever done.
No. People definitely connect him to Gladiator.
If you want to talk about like pacing in a film, like it's so.
No, people like, definitely. He's definitely connected to Gladiator. Like, I disagree with that.
Movie is 2 hours long, it feels like 30 minutes. It's just really nice the way it builds. And
Tim Burton made all his money making Ed Wood.
That's
Ed Wood was
cool
probably
that
his biggest
this
success.
weirdo freak was this profitable.
Yeah, no, I'm just joking on the Ed Wood thing. Beetlejuice made tons of money. Edward Scissorhands. You had Batman, which basically created the superhero genre of what we know today. Basically did. And then we had movies
was like a little bit more cartoony and close to the comics. Now it's like this weird bastardized version that's in space and like.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind the Planet of the Apes movie he did, but the Charlie and Chocolate Factory movie sucked. The Alice in Wonderland movie
that shit
sucked.
is bad. It's just like
Yeah,
all the
those
choices
movies
he
sucked.
made, I did not like, and I don't know that movie's just.
I didn't mind the.
It makes me.
I didn't mind the Planet of the Apes movie.
You ever see like a movie where like it's not a bad movie? It's like not really good or bad. It just makes you feel kind of gross, and it's not even like gross in a way where like it's bad visuals or disturbing. It's like the overall like tone of the film is just kind of off.
Now this one's a little surprising to J.J. Abrams, I guess, just because of Star Wars: Force Awakens. That's why he earned this. I assume
made a lot of money, didn't it?
No. This is This is movies. This is movies.
Oh, so I thought it was going to combine their entire career.
Yeah, you know what? I see it. Those Star Trek movies made pretty good bank. They're pretty good. I mean, the first one, that first Star Trek with 2009 with Chris Pine was pretty good. Pretty good. I think it got people who didn't even like Star Trek into watching it, so that was a different thing as far like Star Trek has always gone far into that nerd zone that you had to kind of be a prerequisite nerd to like it. But the Star Trek 2009 movie was kind of like you can get some basic bitches in there. He did that.
Star Trek then more than Star Wars?
Shit, man. I mean, all right. This is a breakdown of things. What does Star Wars include? If Star Wars includes everything all encompassed, meaning the original series, the prequels, and the crappy sequels, then definitely Star Trek I like better.
Well, if you're trying to build that case, then there's.
Or do you want to say like the Star Wars original trilogy?
There's one option which is taking the entire franchise all together, no matter the good or bad, and then two, which is taking the peak or the best of and comparing it.
All right, that's a good question. All in all, I definitely like the Star Trek series better, like franchise better. If you'd collected everything up, but the peak, I would say Star Wars. Like the peak trilogy, the original trilogy is better than anything Star Trek has done. But also, here's the thing: Star Trek is very much, to me, it's a TV show, and it's different than a movie, where it's like it's a peak TV show where it's actually very episodic, and I want to have 100 episodes of it. Where Star Wars, I like that it's a limited thing. It's like they're very different in a sense. You know what I mean by that? It's like one's a better TV show, one's a better movie series. Peak wise. The movies I've never been super impressed with as far as Star Trek. I like the one where they're in San Francisco.
The shit is really good, and it's
the Wrath of Khan's good. The Wrath of Khan's good, and then there's one where they're in San Francisco looking for a whale. That movie is kind of cool. I like that movie a lot. But episodically, I like those are going back to original Star Trek. I don't really like the original Star Trek. I like Next Gen, which is the 90s. I like Next Gen. I like DS9. Like the best. I like the 90s TV show version of Star Trek. But there's so much of it that if you encompass it all as one, I would say it beats Star Wars. There's fucking like hundreds of hours of that shit. Next one on the list is Christopher Nolan. I fucking hate this guy.
Yeah, me too.
Oppenheimer. Fuck Tenet.
I
Fuck
find
anything
all of
this
this
guy
stuff
does.
to just be cold, boring, stale. I don't know. I just don't like the tone of his films. They're so dry. And
Oh, I had a clip for Tom Cruise being pissed at Oppenheimer. Here's Tom Cruise being pissed at Oppenheimer.
This is Les Grossman. Who is this?
This is Flaming Dragon!
Oh, okay. Flaming Dragon. Fuckface. First, take a big step back and literally fuck your own face!
So good at that part. Yeah, let's move on past Christopher Nolan. I don't want to talk about him.
Yeah.
David Yates did the majority of the Harry Potter movies, going after, I guess it was after Alfonso Cuarón, and pretty much took over after there.
That's a good connection. So this is like his protege?
No. He just kind of took over to do the rest of the Harry Potter movies, and then kind of like they kept him along for the whole ride. Like he kind of did good with it, and they just sort of kept him along. I think Christopher Columbus was really good for the first couple movies, because I think Christopher Columbus has this child vibe. You know, he did Home Alone. I think he was really good at working with child actors, and that's why those first Harry Potter movies really worked well. The first two, and then the second one was Alfonso Cuarón, which is like the weird one and the transition. And then after that, it was mostly David Yates. There's one guy in between Alfonso Cuarón and David Yates, but David Yates basically finished off the core of the franchise. He made 4 movies, and then did the Fantastic Beasts movies that no one watched.
I saw those motherfuckers.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? He's done such a good job with Harry Potter. It sucks that those movies aren't as popular. Because he's
they are very stale and boring and dry.
Yeah, they are. I wouldn't blame it on the directing. I'd blame more on the writing. Number 5, Michael Bay.
Oh,
now, Bad Boys made a
um,
lot of money.
Bad Boys. I fucking love that franchise. He's got The Rock. Yep, nice.
And all the Transformers, Armageddon. I mean, I get him being on the list here. Accrued nearly $5 billion at the box office.
He just feels like a cheaper, sleazier James Cameron.
Number 4, the most brilliant of all. We have Peter Jackson
boy.
coming off of making Bad Taste, Meet the Feebles, Brain Dead. End up being the 4th highest grossing filmmaker of all time. Do you think that would happen?
It's a career trajectory you'll rarely ever see. You know, like look at everybody else on the list and how they came up into this.
I mean, basically, this comes down to.
By the way, I think helped a lot. You know, like that gave him almost like, more respect from people, and not just being like some weird horror action director. Like he could make more dramatic type of films, but then you get King Kong.
So with Peter Jackson, we're looking at 6.5 billion made in theaters. Basically, that means Lord of the Rings made about $6 billion. Because like I look at King Kong, it's about 500 million. So yeah, basically that means Lord of the Rings made $6 billion. Well deserved too. Great movies, great trilogy, the best trilogy of all time. Nothing kind of comes close. Still holds up.
As a Star Wars fan, you're gonna say that?
Oh yeah. Oh, as a Star Wars fan, I would easily say the best trilogy of all time is The Lord of the Rings. Easily. Return of the King gets a little too long, but
you know, it's like comparing LeBron to Jordan or something. You know,
I mean that could be something that being like when we grew up in, we're born in 87, grew up in, late 2000s as our peak time period, or early 2000s as our peak era of life. Just when those Lord of the Rings movies coming out that really hit with us. So, it's not like we were born in the 70s where the original Star Wars really hit with those people. So, yeah, that might be why my trilogy would be Lord of the Rings, but I could see why others in the 70s would choose the original Star Wars. But yeah,
Well,
number
Forrest
3, the Russo
Impact
brothers.
is higher, but
I mean, I also just think they're better movies. I don't know. I mean,
that's what I was about
although
to say.
I don't.
Forrest Impact might be higher, but far as like just not being held back by the time it was made and having advancements in technology, they could do a lot more. And it's just, I remember seeing like the extended cuts and thinking like, you know, a
Oh,
lot
extended is the only way to see it.
should have been in this.
Yeah,
and it would have been better with it.
I mean, extended is the only way to really watch the trilogy. But I will say, if I'm going to give it a critique, Return of the King probably has about 3 too many endings. There's almost like 6 endings in the whole movie of that last one.
And
it's not my favorite of the trilogy.
At that point, was starting to get sloppy. You know, like some of the elephant stuff with Legolas was looking really like Harry Potter on the broomstick in one of the first 2 movies. You know, it's just
I think my biggest complaint is
wobbly and not rendered that well.
I also don't really like the Army of the Dead where they just come in and kill things in fucking 3 seconds.
So convenient. I mean, that happens so many times.
I really didn't like that. That was probably the only thing I didn't like. That's probably the only thing I didn't like in the whole trilogy.
Like Gandalf walking in from the mountaintop with his shit blinding everybody, and then they slaughter the whole fucking army.
Because they still have to do what they're doing. It is different. It's like it's not like they just like slaughter them all at once. It's
no, you're right.
You know what I mean?
They're like
it feels more like earned and
everything to where it doesn't even matter what's going on. They just instantly kill people.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like almost like
you're right. It's almost like a really easy cop out, and
it wasn't instant with the Gandalf thing. It was cool and it was very like, and also it was set up. You know, also I really liked it was set up for a long time. Like, look to my coming on the 3rd day, whatever, when the dawn rises, and like Gandalf's or Aragorn's looking at him like, I don't know what the fuck this guy's saying.
Well, no,
at first, and then he pieces together later.
They're locked in the throne room with no food, no water, and they could die at any moment. And if they don't go out at the right time that he said, they're fucked. You know, like they're dead.
Yeah, I mean, the last ride, man. The last ride. All right, so there is word that there is a longer cut that Peter Jackson has made that he might release once it kind of comes back.
Well, it's not like he's going to go back and complain that it didn't come out the way he wanted, considering it won a bunch of fucking Oscars and shit, you know? It's like, let's get the re-edit of the movie I made that made tons of money and was critically acclaimed. Let's get that re-edit going.
Yeah, it could be that. Oh god, our stream stopped here. Playing too many Lord of the Rings clips here. Stop the stream. The stream has been suspended for policy violations.
Really?
Uh-oh. Yeah, fuck them. Fuck YouTube. It's still going on Twitch. On Twitch right now, it's still happening. Twitch doesn't give a fuck what you do. That's something I've realized. Twitch doesn't care at all.
Well, at least people can see the limitations of Twitch and what they allow and what they won't.
Let's move on to the next one here. Russo brothers, number 3.
Who's that?
So they did all like the MCU stuff. It's funny, they've not got as much popularity as you think.
That is. Oh,
they did.
Isn't that like a dog movie?
I think that's a shitty Owen Wilson movie. If memory serves me correct, there. You know, they did Captain America movies. They did Avengers, all that crap.
There's my boy.
James Cameron obviously has to be number 2.
Motherfucker, Prince money. He's got deep sea diving.
So we know who's going to be number 1. We know who's gonna be number one when you just look at this list. Tell me, who do you think number one is? Hold on. I got a clip for that.
Fear of the monsters will keep you in a good balance, walking along the rail.
I can look at myself in the mirror, and I can start laughing at myself.
I'm loving I have all these Busey clips. I'm loving that I have.
Yeah.
Are you getting it? Yeah, I'm getting
Are
it.
you getting it? You gotta get it, man!
Are you getting it?
Are you getting it? Yeah, I'm getting
Are
it.
you getting it? You gotta get it, man!
That's what I was saying earlier. Is like, how did this motherfucker not get memed out completely?
I know.
Or
Like
bleeped out?
I'm only getting. I'm like tip of the iceberg of actually clips here, and I got 6. Yeah, I went through all like a little best of video and made some clips, and I have 6 clips here. 6 clips. I'm sure there's tons more. Did I play all of them? Let me see. What's this number 3 here?
I can look at myself in the mirror.
That one.
Fear, F-E-A-R.
F-E-R.
That stands for false evidence appearing real.
We've seen that one.
Are you getting it? Yeah, I'm getting
Are
it.
you getting it? You gotta get it, man!
I think I did go through all of them. But all right. Let's look at James Cameron, obviously number 2 here. By the way, we're back on YouTube. Sorry about that little mix up there.
Yeah,
Played
we got a
some
little,
Peter Jackson clips. Peter Jackson will get you flagged. I guarantee he doesn't. I guarantee you right now he doesn't give a fuck about that. Number ones.
He got enough money to, buy a small country.
Yeah, no, it's those fucks on the Alphabet Company, those Google fucks, basically a bunch of pedophiles and murderers. Steven Spielberg, number
It
1.
sounds like a sect of gangs in New York or something.
That'll probably get me blocked off of YouTube, just calling them pedophiles and murderers, the Alphabet Company.
Well,
But
the fact that you brought it up again and said it twice is only going to help your case.
it's not going to help. Number 1, Steven Spielberg. So we kind of figured this. We got Jaws, we got E.T., Schindler's List. That's a fun one for the summer.
And you never know.
You wanna
Maybe
put
there's a
that on.
crossover. Maybe he's doing Schindler's List Jaws.
You think Schindler's List is like a good July favorite, and like July 24th, you're gonna play Schindler's List? Something's telling me
You gotta
no.
get a sequel or a prequel to it. Schindler's
Yeah, how come
List
there's not
2.
like Schindler's List trilogy right there? You could bring Liam Neeson back. Do like a Taken crossover with Schindler's List, right?
Yeah, maybe like the one person you need is Taken. So to get the list complete, you got to get the Taken person back to complete the list.
But yeah, that's those are the highest earning directors.